Hey, DBZenny here. I hope you enjoyed the intro showcasing Calcharo's insane power. Yep, you heard that right. It's pronounced Calcharo, not Calcharo. Now let's go to my dojo. Alright, now that you know how to pronounce the goat's name, let's dive into this guide. Today we're going to cover 5 crucial topics. Number 1 is going to be how to get the best stats. 2, what echoes to use. 3, attack and movement mechanics. 4, which weapons to use. And 5, the best team compositions to make Calcharo a god. So if you want to see these type of big numbers, you need to have your Calcharo with stats similar to this. I will discuss on how to get 94% crit in a bit, but first we're going to focus on everything else. So these stats are normally gained by echoes. The majority of them are, at least. So you want to work on your echoes. I'm personally running a 4-3-3-1-1. I do not recommend for you to build a 4-4-1-1-1. Just work towards the 4-3-3 unless you're really struggling with content. So for your 4 costs, you want your main stat to be crit rate, and for your 3 costs, you want the main stats to be electro damage. All other sub roles, they need to be crit rate and crit damage, preferably both, for each echo, and the priority should be that, then energy regen, followed by attack percentage, and then flat attack and liberation damage percentage last. So on the skill tree, this is what yours should look like. You want to focus on resonance liberation of Forte circuit first. We're going to skip the top of this. It only offers 15% damage reduction, which is useless against bosses, and then you'll end up with an extra 11.2% crit damage once we get to this level. So for your resonance chain and dupe system, you want to get to number 3 and 4. 3 is going to give them an increase 25% electro damage during his liberation, and 4 will boost the electro damage bonus for all team members by 20% for 30 seconds, aka Yinlin. Now the S5 and S6 are just cherry on top. Obviously it'll make your Calcharo a lot stronger, but most people aren't going to realistically get that. Now let's proceed to the next step to get your stats up. Yes, we're here and we're gonna cook. So to get your stats up, guys, the next step is gonna be cooking. It's crucial to boosting your stats. My Calcharo normally runs 67% crit rate, but with the Jinjo Maokai food, it boosts his crit rate by 28% for 30 minutes. To achieve this, you have to be chef level 5, which is the max level, and you'll unlock the recipe. If you have God roll crit rate on your echoes and you're using a weapon, as long as you're within 75 to 80% crit rate, you can also use Mori Pot, which increases your attack percentage by 40% for 30 minutes. This will allow your Calcharo to do massive hits, but in return, you're going to lose consistency due to the lower crit rate. This is by far the easiest and quickest way to increase your damage output. Now that you have the cooking sauce, let's move on to the next step. So now you're going to want to come to the synthesizer. You're going to want to open it up and go to potion making, which is the first slot. You're going to slide down to electro patrol. You're going to want to make a bunch of these. It increases their team's electro damage by 15% for around 3 minutes. Personally, I only use this for in-game content like holograms. But anyways, now that you guys know how to increase your stats, let's go back to the dojo. Alright, so now we are at which echo is best in slot for Calcharo. So we're going to be going over the best echo in the game, which is wrong echo, guys. This is not it. This is Thundering Memphis. Alright guys, let's try again. The best echo, guys, I asked for the best in slot echo, please. Let's try this one more time. Okay. Alright, so the best in slot echo, there he is. It's gonna be Flautus. This is my opinion. He's the only one with range. He shoots a freaking Gallic gun. He can be swap canceled, as you're gonna see here. He also does the second most damage behind Thundering Memphis. He out damages Tempest Memphis. He just doesn't give you the electro buff like Tempest does. So yeah, he essentially makes gameplay better just because Calcharo is melee and he covers that distance. Also, when you use the beam, it targets on the boss, so they move around and fly, it tracks. Next is the worst option in my opinion, which is Thundering Memphis. He can't be swap cancelled. He does the most damage, but he can be interrupted. A lot of Chinese players were playing him due to the bug with the shiny version, but that's been patched. Last, we have Tempest Memphis, who provides 12% electro damage for 15 seconds, and he can be swap cancelled. Feel free to pause. This is the math between him and Flautus, but as you can see, what makes him great is the electro buff, not his damage. Welcome back to the dojo. Now we're going to be discussing Calcharo's basic attacks and resonance skill and how to use them efficiently. So So the clip coming up, you're going to see Calcharo using his basic attacks first and then the 3 skills after, and you're going to see how long it takes. So by weaving Calcharo's skill into his basic attacks, you achieve the same amount of damage as performing them separately, but it saves a lot of time due to the smooth flow of attacks and skills combined. This approach allows you to build your forte gauge quicker, which allows you to perform your heavy attack. That heavy attack can be swap cancelled into your sub DPS for even more damage. Do keep in mind that while you're mid-air, you can get hit by a boss, which will stop your combo. So essentially, you want to swap cancel as soon as you see this wave here. That way you'll avoid damage while in mid-air and you can start your combo with your sub DPS. Now let's take a look at how to weave in the combos with the skills. You essentially have to use your basic skill, basic skill, basic skill. But at this point, you want to cancel your basic attack to how long that animation is and the small amount of damage it provides. As soon as you cancel, press your last skill, completely filling up your forte gauge and allowing you to do your heavy attack. So let's take a look at it a few more times. Remember, when you see this is where you cancel into your last skill here, which is your third one. And let's run it back again. Feel free to pause, but it is basic, skill, basic, cancel into skill. Now that you've learned how to weave in his basic attacks and resonance skills, let's take a look at his ultimate ability and how you can use it to maximize your damage. So for this clip here, I'm going to slow it down. You want to see I activate the ultimate. He jumps up in the air doing his heavy. Just remember guys, your ultimate you can parry. You see the parry there. And you could also use this dash right here to dodge the boss's abilities. As soon as you dash through, you can swap cancel. You're going to see right here Calcharo still does his animation and swap back to him and continue your ult. This allows your sub DPS to deal damage while Calcharo's ultimate continues to deal damage on its own. Now let's take a look here at the clip in normal speed to see what it would actually look like in game. And just remember, your Calcharo is also moving faster, so you use his movement to position yourself better around the boss. Over 55% of your damage comes from your ultimate, so make sure you are taking your time and using it to its maximal potential instead of just spamming auto attacks mindlessly. Thank you for stopping by the dojo. I hope this section of the video helps enhance your gameplay, mechanics, and increase your damage output with Calcharo as well. Now that we've covered this, let's move on to team compositions and see which teams benefit him the most. So the first one we're going to talk about is the support role, which goes to Verena. She's best in slot and it's not even close. She offers powerful buffs and healing with minimal field time. She gives the entire team 20% attack bonus, and with her outro skill, she grants 15% all type damage deepen. So she increases the damage all enemies take. Since she's not on the field a lot, it gives Calcharo and the other sub DPS more time to do damage. So now let's get into the sub DPS role, and the queen of this role is Yinlin. Yinlin pairs perfectly with Calcharo, creating the highest damage output out of any Calcharo team you can make as of now. This combination creates arguably the most potent team in game. Yinlin's abilities enable seamless swap mechanics, making Calcharo's gameplay much smoother. Swapping between them is enjoyable and engaging, though it has a high skill ceiling. This is the hardest team to play in the game by far, but once mastered, the damage potential of these two is unparalleled. Yinlin's punishment mark allows Calcharo to execute his rotations while Yinlin continues dealing damage off the field. She also provides excellent AoE coverage, helping you clear enemies more quickly. Her outro skill provides a 20% electro damage deepen and a 25% resonance liberation damage deepen for 14 seconds when switching to Calcharo. And her forte circuit grants a 20% attack increase to Calcharo when her judgment strikes hit the target. As far as dupes go, if you get her S4, when Forte Circuit Judgment strikes hit a target, the attack of all team members is increased by 20% for 12 seconds. This greatly increases the team's damage output. This makes her the best sub DPS in game since she does the most damage by far out of any sub DPS characters. I would recommend a Thundering set for her. Next I want to mention Genshin. She is the second best option in my opinion. She offers a completely different playstyle compared to Yinlin. She focuses more on protection and safer gameplay, making her ideal if you struggle with boss mechanics or take too many hits. She can run the Turtle Shield Echo, which stacks effectively with Verena's Turtle Shield Echo as well, providing an extra layer of defense. Her outro skill provides the next character with a 38% resonance liberation damage deepen for 14 seconds, so if you use her ult to group up enemies and then use her outro to switch into Calcharo, you will receive that buff, and once you activate your ult, it's going to do a ton of damage. I've had this ult do around 75 to 85,000 damage upon activation alone, making your ult a huge nuke before you pop off using your auto attacks inside your ult. I do recommend the Moonlit set for her echoes, and the other nice thing about her is that you do not need dupes to make her buff Calcharo like this. She can also be used as a full support. The next sub DPS I want to talk about is a 4-star, and that's going to be Sanhua. She's arguably the best 4-star sub DPS in the game. She provides smooth gameplay with Calcharo, similar to Yinlin. She also provides control with her ice attacks and echoes, and she has very fast animations. So it reduces the time she's on the field, allowing Calcharo to do more damage. If you have her S6, it provides a 10% attack increase for 20 seconds that can stack up to 2 times, and her outro skill gives the next character a 38% basic attack damage deepen for 14 seconds. This doesn't increase your total damage output much, since most of Calcharo's damage comes from his ultimate and not basic attacks, but she's still a really good option. Honorable mentions is going to be Mortefi. I did use him for a while for mid game. He provides range and his ult has good synergy with Calcharo, and that'll wrap it up for team compositions. We finally made it to the end of the video, guys. The last topic we have to talk about is weapons. We're going to talk about the best in slot weapon, which is Lustrous Razor, followed by Verdant Summit, which does about 97% the damage that Lustrous Razor does, and then the third option is going to be Autumn Trace, which is the Battle Pass weapon, which is around 17% weaker than Lustrous Razor. Okay, keep in mind that these stats represent a fully optimized Calcharo. Initially I used Autumn Trance because my echoes didn't have a good crit roll, so once I obtained better stats I switched to Verdant Summit. Eventually I upgraded to the Lustrous Razor once I unlocked the Union level 45, which gives you a weapon box selector. You also want to be aware of what your stats are. For example, if you have a 40% crit, equipping the Lustrous Razor is going to not do so well when it comes to damage due to your low crit rate. So instead you would want to use Autumn Trace, which provides the crit rate needed. But once your crit rate is up and your echoes are close to the final build, your goal is to get the Lustrous Razor. If you have Gian, I do recommend the Verdant Summit and sharing it between them if you're a low spender. It's only a 3% damage difference and can be utilized by both characters. This will then allow you to use your weapon selector box that you get at Union level 45 for another DPS, greatly boosting your other team's damage output while only sacrificing 3% of Calcharo's total damage. I hope this guy improves your Calcharo gameplay and team composition. If you really enjoyed the video, guys, I would really appreciate it if you like and subscribe. This video took a long time to make, a lot of hours put into this, and I would greatly appreciate it. Also, keep an eye out on the channel. I will be uploading more guides like Yinlin's, and any future character that comes out I will be pulling for. So peace out, guys. Thank you.